Members, it is about time we have attained the quorum. I now call the meeting to order. Item 1, confirmation of minutes of the 22nd meeting held on April the 24th. The minutes have been made available. Can I take them as confirmed? Matters arising, there is nothing to report on meeting with the CS. Business arising from previous council meetings, Legal Service Division reports on bills referred to the House in accordance with Rule 54.4, Inland Revenue Amendment Number 2, Bill 2015. Legal Advisor, please. Will members refer to paper LS 61/14 to 15? The bill seeks to give effect to the proposals concerning tax concessions in the budget. The first one is to increase the child allowance from $70,000 to $100,000. The second one is to reduce salaries tax under personal assessment and profits tax by 75%, subject to a ceiling of $20,000 per case. We've scrutinized the bill and there are no legal or drafting problems. Bills Committee, Mr. Kenneth Leung proposes a BC. Who would like to join the BC? Moving on to the Peak Tramway Amendment Bill 2015. Legal Advisor, please. Paper LS 64/1415. The bill proposes to amend the ordinance to provide for the grant and termination of the operating rights of the Peak Tramway after December 31st, 2015. The bill also seeks to transfer certain powers or duties which are vested in the STH to the SCED. At the Economic Development Panel, the bill was discussed on the 23rd of March. Members expressed a number of concerns, and members may wish to look into the issues further. Bills Committee, Mr. Wong Kwok Heng proposes a Bills Committee. Who would like to join? There will be further circulation. Legal Service Division report on subsidiary legislation gazetted on April 24th and tabled in Council on April 29th. Legal Advisor, please. Paper LS 62/1415. There is one single item there. Legal Aid Assessment of Resources and Contributions Amendment Regulation 2015. Under the ordinary legal aid scheme, the aided person shall pay a contribution in accordance with the financial resources. And in LN 78, the financial resources bandwidth will be amended, and instead of an absolute figure, the bandwidth will be represented as percentages of the amount of financial resources specified in Section 5.1 of Cap 91. The details of the bandwidths are set out in Annex C of the electoral brief. There is also a maximum contribution of the aided person, and this will be represented in terms of a percentage. On the 16th of February, the matter was discussed at the AJLS meeting, and members in general were in support. And this this comes into effect on the 17th of June 2015. Subcommittee, Mr. Dennis Kwok proposes subcommittee. Who would like to join? There will be further circulation of invitation. Deadline for amendment is 27th of May, if extended, 17th of June. Legal Service Division report on subsidiary legislation, gazetted on April the 30th. Legal Advisor. Paper LS63/1415. There are 3 items there. The first one is Merchant Shipping Limitation of Ship Owners Liability Amendment Ordinance 2005 Commencement Notice. This is to bring into effect the provisions that remain unimplemented into effect on May the 3rd. And this has to do with liability for claims in respect of loss of life and personal injury, and the liability will be increased. That's the first one. The other 2, they don't have to be submitted to the Council for scrutiny, and the Council cannot amend them. The first one is United Nations Sanctions Central African Republic Regulation 2015, and also the United Nations Sanctioned Democratic Republic of Congo Regulation 2015. And this is to implement sanctions on Congo and Central African Republic. There is a subcommittee on the scrutiny of the implementation of UN sanctions. Members might wish to refer these 2 instruments to the subcommittee. Yes, as usual, we will refer them to Ms. Sitho's subcommittee. Any subcommittee needed on merchant shipping? No? Moving on to business for Council meeting of May the 13th, 2015, tabling of papers. Report number 19/1415 of the House Committee on Consideration of Subsidiary Legislation and Other Instruments. The deadline is May the 13th, and no members indicated their intention to speak, so I won't move any motion. Questions? Since we're still dealing with the draft estimates, there will be no oral questions. Bill first and second reading. There will be no government motion. Members' motions. Proposed resolution to be moved by Ms. Sitho under Section 34(4) of the Interpretation and General Clauses Ordinance in relation to merchant shipping prevention of pollution by garbage regulation and merchant shipping prevention of pollution by garbage regulation repeal regulation. Since we're dealing with the draft estimates, and there are 6 bills that have been building up, we will not be drawing lots until we're done with the estimates. Ms. Emily Lau. Chairman. Now perhaps the 6 items and the order can be listed for us. Yes, indeed, there is the standard working hours by Ms. Chen Yunhan, the lump sum grant by Mr. Peter Zheng, repair and maintenance of private building by Mr. Tony Jay, International Financial Center, the challenges by Mr. Ng Leung Sing, and the report on a visit to Finland, Norway, and Denmark by Ms. Emily Lau, and One Country, Two Systems by Mr. Dennis Kwok. Right, that would be clear for members. Business for Council meeting of May the 20th, 2015. There are 22 written questions. Bills first and second reading. There is no notice. Government motions. There are 2 resolutions under Section 54A of the Interpretation and General Clauses Ordinance in relation to the establishment of the Innovation and Technology Bureau to be moved by SCED. Members' motions, as I said, there will not be any lot to be drawn pending the bill being out of the way. Report on the establishment of ITB, Mr. Lo Wai Kwok, Chairman. The subcommittee held one meeting with the administration to discuss the two resolutions on the establishment of the ITB. All the details of the deliberation are set out in the report. The subcommittee did not raise any questions regarding the legal and drafting matters of the resolution, nor will it move any amendments. Just a reminder that for amendments, the deadline is May the 13th, Wednesday. Position of Bills Committee and subcommittees as of 7th of May, Thursday, there were 11 Bills Committees, 7 subcommittees under the House, 5 to do with under the panel. There are 3 on the waiting list. I've got no other business. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.